Hi, welcome to video number 3, Private Property. Again, I ask you to observe the behavior of children when dealing with material possessions. The concept of mine is pre-verbal. They know it even before they can say it. You may never have thought about this in this way, but the concept of private property is one of the fundamental principles or building blocks of any society. It has been debated by brilliant minds all throughout history. Two opposite worldviews arise from your understanding and position in reference to the idea of property. You either believe that private property is a necessary and fundamental individual right, or you don't. It's that simple. These two very different and opposing worldviews are collectivism, on the one hand, which leads to socialism, communism, state control, and tyranny, or, on the other hand, individualism, which leads to capitalism, free markets, rule of law, individual freedom, and a representative republican form of government. Now, let's do a mental exercise, and let's look at this from a purely spiritual point of view. We can all agree that we are all connected, and we all belong to the earth, not the other way around. We can also make the argument that dividing the ground in little pieces and saying, quote unquote, this is mine, could be considered, at some level, ridiculous. After all, you can't take it with you when you die. In an ideal and sublime world, we should all share the earth, and its fruits equally, in love, in peace, and in harmony. The division of the world into nation states could be considered obsolete and unnecessary. Now, this is one way of seeing the world. Now let's come back down to reality and see if we can find an instance in which, in any historical context, where anything approaching this ideal can be found. Many people would think of the idyllic and pastoral image of the nomadic tribes that lived in harmony with the land. But even they had the concept of property. They had, quote unquote, belongings, the horse, weapons, tools, clothing, so on. They fought other tribes for control of territory, which is a modified form of land ownership. The moment we start to create human settlements based on agriculture, the idea of owning the land came into being and has been with us ever since. And like it or not, it goes hand in hand with human nature. It is the logical outcome of our human condition as separate individuals in the physical world. Now, we can either fight it, and the 20th century is full of examples of bloody fights and millions dead in the name of socialism and communism and collectivism, or we can accept reality and work toward creating a best possible system of government under which every individual gets a chance, not a guarantee, at fulfillment and happiness. But wait a minute, it's already been done by a whole bunch of old guys with wigs in the 1700s. I recommend you expand your reading and check out an even older British guy, whom these guys also read. His name was John Locke. He explains the concept of property very well. Check out Two Treatises of Government, John Locke, 1689. Now, let's agree at this point on the following premise. It is not possible, no matter how much we may want it, to live in a utopian, make-believe world where we all exist in a blissful and unselfish unity and willingly share the land and its fruits with no regard for personal interest. Reality does not grant us that wish. The concept of mine, this is a summary, is innate. There's opposing views on property and human rights. The spiritual view of the world is utopian and for practical purpose impossible. Reality dictates the need for a system that includes individual property. I'll see you next one.